And we are live on the SMT. It is January 24th, 2020. Thank you all for being here in the live. For those of you watching, and for those of you watching on the replay, welcome to you as well. Glad you could be here to watch. I have like 7,000 guests with me today. We're like the Brady Bunch up in here. All right. To my, I don't know how to do this, bro. To my right, well, it's my left, but right, we have Jaden. He's a first-time visitor guest here on the SMT YouTube channel. Jaden reached out to me via email. He's well-versed in the networks. He knows the carriers pretty well. It looks like we've got a lot to talk about tonight, and he seems to know quite a bit about the technologies and the different aspects of all the networks. So we'd like to welcome him. Jaden, thanks for being here, man.
Of course. Glad to be here.
Yeah, it's good to have you. And then I'll try this again. Here is JG from JG Tech Blog, the famous JG. Haven't had JG on in a while. JG, it's good to have you back, man.
Yeah,
We've seen you've been pretty active since the CES week. So it's good to have you back on the YouTube. And yeah, man, we're excited to have you too, man. I mean, we're excited to have Jaden. We're excited to have you. And then let's try this one. Below, lurking in the shadows, is Carlos.
What up? What's going on? Hey,
Everybody
what up,
knows
JG?
Carlos.
How you doing?
JG, you on?
My bad, I got cut off for a second. What's up, Carlos?
Not much, man. How's everything been with you, man?
Yeah, it's good.
You've been pretty active lately.
Yeah, just trying to get back into it. You know, the YouTube thing is hard when you're trying to get the normal job in this. But we're back. You know, we'll see how it is.
Back in action.
Hey, we got money, bro. We're starting off right away with money. Jamil's making it rain, bro. Super chat.
Wow, that's awesome. Thank you.
Thanks, Jamil. Perfect audio and video. Thanks, Rafi. Appreciate it. All right, what's up, Matt Dub? What's up, Max? I see Moa Noor here. What's happening, bruh? We got Ray's Mobile Carrier News, Maverick, Jarrett. All right, too far to go back. I see Ronald, some of my moderators. Good to have you guys here. All right, so here's what we're going to do with tonight, guys. Our mission tonight is to take a look at the Opensignal report. We'll kind of look at some of the analytics, the scoring, I guess, from Opensignal. I think what we'll do is we'll talk about how they test. We'll look at the actual results. And I think what we'll do is, because we're actually all representing a different part of the country. So me and Jaden are actually both Midwest, kind of.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But he's a little further north, and I'm a little further east.
Yeah.
Right. JG's a West Coast guy.
Mm-hmm.
Carlos is a desert guy. So we got all types of biomes and like habitats, you know, being represented here. And we'll share our experiences and we'll look at those numbers. And I think what we'll also do is we'll talk about some of the technologies that the carriers are going to be using and deploying very soon, as well as what they currently use, some of the network issues. Jaden, we were talking about Band 30 earlier, right? So it's has great potential, but it's not being executed that well. The throughput, you know, we'll talk about it. Anyways.
Yeah, we'll get there.
And then we'll talk T-Mobile and Sprint merger, and I'd love to get all your predictions on what we're going to see here in the next couple of weeks. We got a judge who's reviewing it, and then we have a judge who's deciding a verdict on it, which is kind of weird. Anyways, the judge that's reviewing it, he's actually in charge of coordinating the divestitures and executing that whole regulatory thing. And he actually hired a guy who was like an advisor for like Advanced Auto Parts or something, or AutoZone, who's like leading this country is crazy when it comes to CEOs. They end up everywhere. Lawyers and CEOs can get a job anywhere, literally. We'll talk about all that, man. And Jamil, he's still making it rain, bro. Another super chat. Jamil, thanks, bro. Appreciate it, man.
Jamil
all right,
balling tonight.
I know, man. must have had a good night at work or something, man. All right. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. Let me go ahead and share the screen, and then it'll take you guys out of it for a minute. We won't show, but the report will. So let me share the screen. And here we go. Can you guys see that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So actually, it's big enough to where we don't have to disappear. Except Carlos, who has disappeared. Okay, there he is. Okay, let's start first with this report. First of all, I'll start just like going down. Jaden, what type of credibility, what type of authenticity do you give Opensignal's approach to testing?
Yeah. That's a very fair question. I think based off what I've seen, I don't know. I haven't been many places in the last year. I've been to Minneapolis a few times. I went to Milwaukee 2 weekends ago. I've been to Chicago twice in the last year. From what I could see, everything seemed to really check out. Like nothing seemed very off to me. I think that one thing that I noticed that made a ton of sense is AT&T is very good at winning download speed experience, which when you have that much spectrum, it makes sense. But the upload experience, I think, is caused by two separate things. I think that lack of density in many markets in terms of macros is definitely harming that score, along with the fact that they generally don't have wider than 10 or 15 megahertz channels. And when you're pushing your network usage across all of these smaller slivers, that can definitely affect upload performance. And I also can see the 4G availability and whatnot affecting that as well, in the sense that they still have UMTS all over the country. That's just not been upgraded. I wouldn't say all over, but geographically, there are large chunks. Otherwise, I don't really have a lot to say. I can see Verizon winning the 4G metrics in terms of availability and coverage experience. T-Mobile winning upload experience also makes a lot of sense to me. As for the voice app experience, I don't see how there can really be a winner with that. I know
it's either like effective or it's not, right?
Yeah, I don't understand that category personally.
Okay, thank you, Martin, for the super chat. Appreciate you very much. Thanks for the generosity. We appreciate all super chats and donations that you guys send our way. Thank you so much. JG, you can kind of, I don't know how, we've got Opensignal. They do reports. We have Ookla. They put out a report.
Yeah.
The speed testing app. We also get like root metrics. Verizon seems to dominate that one all the time. So people try to steer away from that sometimes because they worry that Verizon might be kind of paying for their scores. What kind of value do you give to this report? Is it something that you really take to heart, or is it, something that's like nice to see, but it doesn't necessarily dictate which network you go with?
To be honest, for me personally, as a YouTuber, and I think you would agree with me on this as well, is usually I'll look at the upload speeds. As a YouTuber, the most important thing when I go to a service, but other people are different, right? Because they probably don't have to upload as much videos as we do. But one of the first thing I look at is, will this be able to work properly for me when I'm trying to upload on the go, or if I'm live streaming, right? And so that's, to me, one of the biggest things that I see here from this report. Other than that, I think for the general public, one thing that might make a difference if they had added was maybe customer support, or how they also deal with the customers, maybe adding that to the report. But other than that, I think it's pretty cool. I doubt people really look at this, maybe just from investor standpoint of stuff like that. But looking at the overall picture, just the way I see it, it's kind of like it follows in place in what we see already on the market. We already kind of like see Verizon, and then AT&T, and then T-Mobile, and then Sprint. So it was kind of like already known, but this is just kind of like gives you a little bit more detail in terms of the upload speeds and download speeds. One of the things you did mention when I watched your video was the latency experience. And I'm not sure exactly, correct me if I'm wrong, but is that basically how fast it connects to the servers and you get a line going through, or?
So when the latency is low, it's better. It's how fast you can get connected, as these data streams are feeding. So like, say, for example, your latency or ping is really high.
Yeah.
The time it takes to get connected to the network and actually get throughput takes longer. So like prepaid carriers, for example, we see their pings and their latencies very high because they're given less priority on network. So it's kind of a management tool in that way.
Interesting.
I want to chime in here if that's okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead.
So a lot of the reason you'll see a higher ping on an MVNO is because they have proxies that all of your data has to flow through. So you'll see them in the 60s, 70s, 80s. I've seen it
400, 500, 800.
That might be a different problem, but yeah. And then AT&T has a lot of different cores that, like when I'm in Chicago, my pings hover between 14 and 18 milliseconds, which is the cable.
That's interesting. So when I'm looking at this and I look at the latency experience is kind of the winner through AT&T, I kind of, and I don't know what you guys think about this. I feel like because I look at prepaid majority of my time, and so that means Cricket's prepaid in terms of latency experience would be better than Metro PCS's latency.
Possibly.
Yeah.
It depends. It depends on like, yeah. So like, I think I know where Jaden's gonna go with this, but the thing is how restricted are they gonna make their MVNOs? How much do they want to deprioritize them? So, from my experience, I see Cricket get deprioritized heavily for speed.
It's neat.
Like they really, yeah.
Like basically, okay, when I was testing out to see which MVNO of T-Mobile works on the NR5G technology, I did notice that very severe high pings compared to regular postpaid or even their own version of prepaid, T-Mobile prepaid on the NR technology. So I saw pings of like 150, 180 versus, 30, 20s, with NR on a regular T-Mobile plan.
Okay. So let's do this because these topics are fantastic. Let's just kind of look at these reports. I'll kind of wrap up this last part in terms of the value and validity of the tests. I personally look for separation. How much of a difference is it between 1 and 2? That's a discernible difference because I'm going to be paying $90 for a line or $85 for a line, but the $90 for the line is way better than to me the $5 is worth it. But if, for example, the difference is a half of a point or third and fourth are very, very close, then it doesn't mean fourth is really that bad. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So let's take a look at these scores, and let's first just start with the categories. Carlos, I'll start with you, and big shout out to Jamaal for another super chat. Thank you, bro.
Wow,
I'm telling you, bro,
Jamaal tonight.
I'm telling you, bro, he had a good day at work. This dude must have made some money.
Making it. He's flossing right now. He's stunned.
Feye, good to have you on. Thanks for being here. Tim, man, good to see you as well. Glad you could make it. Mavericks here, Cash Games. All right, so what I'll do is I'll try to – all right, there we go. Let's start with video experience, okay? Video experience, I'm not really sure how they decided they wanted to test this. I'm going to guess it's like whether it's buffering or, video quality like 720p, 1080p. I'll just start with you, Jaden. Verizon takes the cake for video experience. Have you used the network recently? Have you seen this?
I tested Verizon 3 times last year. They're not great where I live. They're not bad. It's just kind of boring. I can believe that. I don't really have anything negative to say. I brought it up in a group chat I'm in with a bunch of members from Howard Forums, and one of them brought up the fact that a lot of Verizon plans are capped at 480p, so how hard can that be to stream?
True. You only need about a megabit per second?
Yeah. I mean, how Opensignal tests that video experience category could be different, but I don't see why that would be I don't see why that would be an inaccurate thing to say that Verizon wins video experience nationally.
All right. Carlos?
Oh, with the video experience?
Because you have Verizon and you're a big fan.
Yes, basically with the video experience, I mean, he's right, Jaden's right. It's not that it doesn't take that long, when you're doing 480p, but honestly, I would say right now, depending on, it's all based off a plan basically, because, they're going to throttle you on video, whether you have the start, the get more, play more, whatever the heck those plans are, all these names. But basically,
don't you think it's interesting that they scored so well in a metric that they managed so aggressively?
I don't know when they did their testing because me, I love Verizon and I love the reliability of Verizon, but I gotta say, I would say AT&T's should have taken the cake on this one.
I wonder
they
what
do offer 4K on their plans.
I wonder what the degrees of separation is. I'm going to take a look at that. I want to see what the difference was between Verizon and then the other three for video experience. Okay, so Verizon scored 58.8. It's a 0 to 100 score. Okay, so number 2 was Sprint at 55.5. So they're separate by 3.3 points. Now, T-Mobile came in at T-Mobile. I'm going to share this other screen. That'll probably be better. Let me do that. I'll stop this one.
Because the thing with Sprint, the thing with Sprint is that they do offer more video quality even on their lower plans. Because basically, you just got to go one step up. You're at 1080p the whole way.
Okay, are you guys able to get this right here?
Yeah,
I see it.
Okay, so that's the video experience score. So first place is in first by multiple points. But you'll see like T-Mobile and Sprint are very close. They're within like 1 percentage point. AT&T's way back. And coming from the most capacitive network, in my opinion, it's strange to see that their video score, whatever that metric is last, and they're last by a lot.
Yeah.
What I'm thinking is that they never turned off because with AT&T they automatically have the data streamers turned on. So if they didn't go in there and physically turn it off, even though you pay for the higher plan for 1080p, you're not going to get that resolution. It'll automatically dumb you down to 480 no matter what.
So look here. This is interesting. 4G video experience, Verizon gets a 60. Sprint gets a 59. Now they have a 3G video experience metric. Can you guys see that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's weird, bro. Like I've never really been able to stream much for video on 3G. So you can see Verizon's 3G score. That's my main carrier. It's really low. It's 12.9. Sprint 17.2. But T-Mobile and AT&T score over 35 and 38 for 3G video experience. I didn't even know there was a 3G video experience, honestly. How do you do video over 3G? I've never been able to see that on Verizon.
You have an HSPA Plus network.
That's what precisely, because like T-Mobile and AT&T still connect in some areas to a lot of that HSPA Plus stuff, right?
Yeah, AT&T more than T-Mobile.
Mm-hmm. That's interesting. I didn't realize that they had that breakdown. So they've got a score for 4G video and they've got a score for 3G video.
I would like to think that this company is professional enough to know whether or not Stream Saver and stuff is on. Like they don't say that in the report, and we'll probably never know unless someone reaches out. But you would think that either they all have it on or none of them do, right?
Yeah. So that way it's
just
across the board, it's playing on the same level playing field.
Because it's weird how AT&T scored last. There's no way, man. I've been streaming with AT&T on 4K, no problem with my plan. I've had no issues at all.
So, what do you guys provide? Sorry, do they provide metrics on how they did these tests?
No, not that I'm aware of. I think if someone were to reach out to them, or maybe metrics definitions.
Okay, so here's metric definitions for the video experience. Quantifies the quality of mobile video experience by Opensignal users on real-world video streams. To calculate it, we directly measure video streams from end-user devices using ITU-based approach to quantify factors such as load times, stalling, video resolution over both an operator's 3G and 4G networks.
So yeah, I don't really tell you much other than how they quantify what their numbers mean.
So they're calculating load times. So lower numbers are better. Stalling, how many times probably it buffers and for how long. And then video resolution. Is it doing 480? Is it doing 720? Now that where that comes into play, guys, is when you automatically get optimized for a certain video resolution. So if they're seeing there's an aggressive management of that, then they're probably like, okay, well, that's something notable. Now here's the interesting thing. Let's not poo-poo on Sprint. And I'm going to tell you guys why we can't poo-poo on Sprint. Sprint showed a 17% increase from 47.5 to 55.5. They're close. They're the closest to Verizon, who took the cake for this one. That's pretty nice from Sprint, actually.
How many subs did they drop last quarter?
I don't want to talk about that right now. I don't want to talk about that right now, bro, because then Maverick's going to get mad and leave, bro. No. Hey, they lost 230,000 subscribers on postpaid.
That's
Wow.
not bad. I mean, it's bad,
That's
but
a lot.
could be worse.
But that
I wonder.
How?
I wonder if the reason their 3G video experience is lower and their points are lower is because they still go on the CDMA, not the GSM like T-Mobile and AT&T. Would you consider that making a difference?
Absolutely. I mean, you're talking about a 21 meg peak speed as opposed to 3. I mean,
Bro, CDMA has no capacity.
Yeah.
There's a reason why we transitioned from a calling network to a data network, right? So, like, if you're using a calling network, primarily CDMA, that's really just for calling. Even till now, are they doing texting over CDMA still?
yeah, you can do pretty much everything with DMA.
Okay, all right. So they're doing some texting and some calling, but as soon as they lose native connectivity, they're roaming. So there's places their CDMA still doesn't reach.
Then that's surprising for Sprint to actually get that high. That kind of goes, into the merger that we're going to talk about. Then maybe they're really working on themselves and their network. They probably at the end of the day, if this merger doesn't really go through, they can, maybe they can pick themselves up.
this is like Sneed and I were talking about, bro. There's been in a lot of markets where Sprint was horrible and basically was useless, has now become pretty strong.
That's true,
Okay.
man. It's a totally different network today in the Cleveland area than it was 2 years ago.
Because even here in Vegas, man, it used to be so slow. It used to bog a lot. You couldn't rely on VoLTE on nothing, man. And now you're getting speeds of regular between 40 to 150 on a regular basis.
Carlos,
So-
like, we want to say nice things about Sprint, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's not.
Okay, look
I
at
mean,
Xander, bro. Look at Xander. You know Xander, bro. You
Yeah,
know
yeah.
Xander.
Does he have
I
Sprint?
mean,
No,
No.
bro.
I mean, look, they didn't. Okay, look, it's not about. Okay, they didn't win awards. We can mention that. Okay, they didn't win
Mhm.
nothing, but they are working on it, man. And where they're working on it very heavily. Because look, they just blasted Miami with 5G. I have sources that have told me 6 more cities are about to light up with 5G. Everything I've been saying about Sprint has been happening through my source.
You guys heard it first. Carlos said it. More 5G cities coming. Go ahead, Jaden.
Our busiest site where I live, and I don't live in a huge metro by any means. I live in a small city. Is like a mall site, and they only have band 25 on there. That's it, right? They have sites with band 41 in the area, but the site that I'm actually currently being served on is 25 only. It does about 8 down, 5 up, right?
Bruh.
AT&T can do about 250 down, 50 up. T-Mobile can do about 120 down, 20 up. They're limited to 10 megahertz channels. Verizon can do about 60 down, 30 up. I mean,
What do you got? Band 13? What do you got?
on this site, I think it's 2, 4, 5, 13. I don't think they have their 66 online yet, but they only have about 11 sites in my area to cover the entire city. AT&T is at 42 in the same spot. Verizon's at 32 and T-Mobile's at 33.
Bro,
And-
that's a huge capacity difference, but and
Yeah.
coverage difference, man. Wow.
More than anything.
Yeah.
They 11 sites to cover where AT&T has literally 4 times as much.
You know what I wonder? Maybe they're getting good service these days because a lot of people are leaving Sprint.
I made that point. Yeah.
And there's not a lot of congestion on the network. so
Hey
that's why
guys,
they're
everybody
better.
left. Come on back.
Come on, man. He was just kidding.
Hey guys, they left. Come on back. Yeah, it's messed up, man. Like, so you're never gonna have congestion issues on Sprint, but you can have coverage issues because that's not gonna matter if you got 10 people on a tower or if you got 100 people trying to get. It's not gonna make a difference.
Or if you got one.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I've been testing it a little bit in the past few weeks. They'll have empty sites that have 3 carriers of 41 pushing 60 meg, and they
Oh
have
my god.
5%
So-
here.
Okay, so that means that they've unnecessarily, like, really powered that tower. They could have gotten away with 141. They don't need to run all that power. They don't even
Get away with 25 and 26.
Yeah, right. They're gonna give it 50 and 50 or whatever they're doing. I don't know.
Well, band 25 is their Sprint uses as an upload band. So everywhere you see a 41, either on the same tower or across the street, you'll see a band 25, 26 tower. So you'll
We're gonna
always
get
see
to
them
that.
like next to each other.
Assuming
Let's-
you have modern enough handset to use it for uplink.
That's true.
Yeah,
You're gonna need what do you need? Like an S9 or newer?
S10.
S10 or newer? Sheesh, bro.
Yeah.
And I tell people, like, you guys rocking these iPhone 6s, it ain't cutting it. You know, we're talking about phones that might be 5 and 6 years old. Like, it's especially if you have a network that's had recent upgrades, like AT&T, like Sprint, like Verizon. If you got band 66, that's it. That was what, 2 years ago they started to really push it. You know, I started to see it here in Cleveland about 2-3 years ago. So, like, if you're still rocking an older phone that isn't getting the aggregation, that isn't getting MIMO technologies, bro, you're like, yeah, I'm getting like 11 megabits per second. My connection sucks. But then the guy next to you is the same carrier is getting 50. And it's all because they have a newer phone and they're not getting slowed, right? They can handle more of the LTE connection. All right. Anyways, we're going to get to download speeds in a second. Let's look at the voice app experience. All right. Carlos, I'll start with you this time. I don't know. Does this matter to you?
I mean,
voice app experience?
I don't know what they mean by voice app, bro, but if they mean by just regular calling experience, I could technically say those are, I mean, from my experience of driving throughout the West and the mid and at least half of the Midwest and some East at times, I could say that's wrong. Because
Go ahead.
Because
okay,
I can get better calling experience with Verizon. That's for sure. I know Verizon is. I can make a call in the middle of nowhere and it's connecting no matter what.
I'll also say that the call quality on Verizon is really good. It's really good on AT&T. Like the clarity of voice and stuff. All that's fine to me. What do you say, JG? Calling?
To be honest, my friends, they work underground a lot, and they're always telling me that usually Verizon has been the best bet for them. Also, they've been saying that Sprint sometimes works better than AT&T and T-Mobile. So usually, that's what I've been told. So it's surprising to kind of see that this rating says a difference. So,
okay, Jaden, go ahead.
I don't really have much to comment on it. I don't really think of it as a metric that applies to many people. I guess in terms of like FaceTime, that might matter, but they're all within 4 or 5%, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I mean, they're high numbers. They're all in the acceptable category or better. So does it really matter? I guess.
No. I'm with you.
I
agree. And then the fact that, like, they look at the top two finishers, 79.4, 79.3. You can't even discern the two of them.
Yeah.
All right, let's get to the download experience. We were just talking about this. Okay, so this one is being rated in megabits per second. Let's take a look at the metrics definition. Download speed experience shows the average download speed experience by Opensignal users across an operator's 3G and 4G networks. It factors in 3G and 4G download speeds along with the availability of each technology.
So it's averaging every technology possible for the carrier. So if they have 2G, 3G, 4G.
Yep. All right. So, and then it's got the two metrics together. It actually confirms what I was saying. I can't do anything with Verizon 3G. Whenever I was ever connected to it, I couldn't do anything with it. Like, you can't watch a video on Verizon 3G. If you look at T-Mobile's, it's 4.6. AT&T's is 3.7. You can actually use that. Like, you could do Pandora, you could do high quality audio, you could even do video, you could YouTube stream. You could do that. Sprint came in at 1.4. So Verizon and Sprint, much worse at 3G download speed. And let's be honest, right? There are parts of the US where 3G is like primary connectivity. There's hardly any LTE.
Can I chime in?
Go ahead, bud.
I think that when you're looking at this metric, yes, those numbers look very awful, but Sprint and Verizon's 3G technologies use about a third of the bandwidth of AT&T and T-Mobile's. So,
yeah.
I mean, when you factor that in, they're really not performing much. I mean, they're performing worse on the user end experience, but in terms of how they perform purely statistically, they're really not far off. If what I'm saying makes sense, you're talking about a channel that's a third the size, if not less, performing about a third as well.
So how about, and JG, I'll go to you here. Let's look at the 4G stuff. I mean, that's what matters. AT&T took the cake at 27.5 as the megabit per second. I'm guessing it's like an average, somehow a calculation. 27.5 for AT&T, 25.8 for T-Mobile, 25.3 for Verizon, 23.9 for Sprint. AT&T is kind of far ahead.
Yeah.
It's a difference of about 2 megabits per second on average from second place. So I don't know if you use AT&T. Any comments to this metric?
To be honest with you, one thing that I did want to mention in regards to the 4G, I haven't used AT&T. Actually, I'm a T-Mobile fan, so I've been all my life I've been on Metro. But what I do want to mention in regards to the 4G and the difference between the 3G, this is just opinionated. I'm not sure if this is actually true, but you can say that T-Mobile and AT&T has better 3G download speeds because they rely on more lower income in, let's just say, the speeds of MVNOs, like what is that called, Simple Mobile and Metro and Cricket and stuff like that. So they relied on the 3G networks more than Verizon Sprint had to. So they probably put more money into it to make sure that it's still stable until that market actually kind of upgraded and went to 4G, if you know what I'm saying. So maybe this is just putting it out there. This is probably why those 3G speeds are better on T-Mobile and AT&T.
Go ahead, Jaden.
Yeah, I kind of get what you're saying, but I think that when it comes down to it, the nature of the technology that T-Mobile and AT&T uses is more data oriented. T-Mobile Metro users, I used to work for a Metro store. They have the opportunity to upgrade every 3 months at a discounted rate. I don't know if anybody here has ever worked in that kind of environment. So they're getting modern-ish handsets. I think that the reason that they perform so much better is because they have more airwaves allocated to that frequency, not really by choice, but just by nature of the technology. So you're going to see better performance no matter what you kind of do about it.
Interesting.
Yeah, I mean, you think about Verizon, they have completely limited, like they're barely operating any 3G because they're trying to get away from it. Like they're telling people to get out of their 3G devices.
They won't.
They told people, bring them in. They're done. They're shutting everything down. So like really the only thing left for Verizon 3G are some of the enterprise customers that are connecting devices that are not smartphones. You know what I'm saying? So they're running legacy tech on a legacy network sliver. That's probably, Jaden, would you say 1% of the network?
Are you talking in terms of spectrum?
Yeah, like how much? You're
talking about 2.8 megahertz in terms of downlink total. If you're talking about one sliver,
and Verizon holds 140 megahertz total, 150.
It's like 112. It's not that high. No, it's not.
Oh my god! Oh wow! Okay,
it's like around 100 something. It's not 120. I know that it's no more than like 110.
Okay, so that's like less. That's like 2%.
Yeah, not a lot of it goes to it anymore.
Which we would guess that maybe T-Mobile and AT&T double that, triple that.
Well, you're gonna see more for T-Mobile because they have less spectrum than AT&T.
Yeah.
So percentage-wise, you're going to see more on T-Mobile, but also you have to factor in the fact that they don't have a lot of 3G geographically. So, I mean, there's a lot of factors you can't generalize a statement like that, in my opinion.
Okay. Carlos, the download speed experience, you love AT&T. Go ahead, buddy. Go in.
Well, I mean, as I've been experiencing, AT&T has been great, for downlink so far on the LTE side. And I mean, T-Mobile was doing great, like out here. It was doing actually really good to a certain extent. And now it's just, it's bogged down so much. I mean, I know everybody's switching over, and they do offer great promotions to get people in there, but at the same time, it's suffering their downlink speeds compared to what I've been used to for the last 4 years. And
Man,
with Sprint, I mean, we can't really talk too much about it because it's not everywhere, natively.
Yeah,
but
right.
in the areas I've been in, it's actually been pretty decent, man. And Verizon just recently did some upgrades up here in Vegas. They hauled all the towers here in town. So now I'm finally, they bumped up the band 66 to 20 by 20 on some sites and 15 by 15, the ones that were 10 by 10 and stuff like that. So I'm seeing really good speeds now. I'm averaging like 100 the lowest all over town, and like 20 on the uplink lowest. So
And I can tell you, like, Carlos, you got me connected with the AT&T service. I haven't seen a speed test below 60 megabits per second. I think since I got the SIM active from you, like, it's so fast.
Out here in, like I said, out here in Vegas, bro, in AT&T, the lowest I've seen on LTE side, like 80, 100.
Bro, the tower site that, like, I live really close to, 150, 160. It doesn't matter the time of day. It doesn't matter the day of the week. It does not matter at all. It never dips below 100.
But how much are you paying?
Business, man. It's
I have an AT&T Enterprise account, and it's I'm paying for 10 lines. It's like 400 for 10
Oh, wow.
for 10 lines.
Okay.
On the elite plan.
But that pricing is not reflective of somebody walking in the store and saying, "Let me get that what is it, the elite?"
Yeah,
I'm going to be paying 90. I'm going to what is the taxes on that? Like, you're pushing 100 scundo, bro.
Well, you go to the consumer elite is 90. If you go to business elite, it's 100. Because on business elite, remember, you got no throttle caps, no deprioritization. You have 4K video at
100
all
gigs
times.
of 100 gigs of LTE
100 gigs of hotspot. Unlimited hotspot on 5G at either NR or millimeter wave.
Yeah,
can't go wrong.
It's impressive. It's a compelling offer if money's not an issue. It really does offer the most. You know what I mean?
I seen a study somewhere that usually the elites or the top, in nationwide usually have Verizon or AT&T, and then T-Mobile is more like middle class, and then.
But this is the thing though, bro, JG. T-Mobile, bro, like out here, it was really good, bro, until they flipped on the NR, bro. Like I couldn't say nothing bad about them. I actually recommended them. It was first Verizon, then T-Mobile. Always, bro. Like no questions asked. If somebody said, "Oh, I want to drive cross country all the time," well, what carrier do you think I should get? I would always tell them Verizon because I drove nationwide and cross country before many times, and I could say Verizon. If you need to make that emergency call, Verizon will connect. No questions asked.
Mm-hmm.
And T-Mobile was always my number 2, bro. Until recently.
What I think is kind of interesting to see when we look at these reports that they bring out, this is just what I see, right? You got AT&T and Verizon at the top, but they charge an arm and a leg from just experience and talking with people, right? And having my own stores when people were coming in from Verizon and AT&T, they would show me their bills, and it's just insane how much they would get charged. And so I look at it this way. You have T-Mobile, from looking at this report, right, that is much more cheaper than these two other carriers. Yeah, it's about, let's say it's not as good as them, but it's in, that middle point. So it kind of tells me that somehow, some way, AT&T and Verizon can do much better. It's just that they're not putting their money into the consumers. They're putting it more into the shareholders, because T-Mobile's doing as good as they are, and they're charging the consumers less.
Okay, hold on. We got to backtrack. Verizon's ARPU average revenue per user. AT&T's ARPU is high. So their profit per customer, right? They make a lot of money on a per customer basis. That's what's really driving shareholders towards Verizon and AT&T. They generate more revenue. T-Mobile has a lower ARPU, but they have more growth. So it's Deutsche Telekom, when looking at this merger potential, I know what they're thinking. When are we going to start making Verizon money? When are we going to start making AT&T money? Yeah, we got the growth, 1+ million subs every quarter. It's amazing. It's awesome. And I think this is part of the reason why John is gone. He's walking away. I mean, not on bad terms, bro. Not at all. He was the game changer, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I think Deutsche Telekom's like, look, if we're about to sink tens of billions in the next handful of years annually, we got to start making money.
So you're telling me that in the coming years, to recoup all of this, they're going to start acting like Verizon and AT&T.
Not recoup, but to start making money.
Yeah, you're more profit.
Like
exactly. Business is business,
though,
right?
JG, you have to think about this, man. Okay, you got AT&T putting 26 billion a year on network upgrades and integrations. You got Verizon putting about 18 to 22 billion. Okay. You got even Sprint putting 12 to 13 billion. Why is T-Mobile only putting 6 billion when they're getting a whole ton of customers? Doesn't make sense, bro. They need to raise the price. They need to.
Yeah. Jaden, you're ready. Jaden, go. Jaden, go ahead. You're ready. I see you stewing over there. Go ahead.
There's like a $3 difference in ARPU between AT&T and T-Mobile. And
can we count how many AT&T customers? Can we do this?
What's that?
Do you want to count AT&T customers versus T-Mobile?
What is it, like 120?
Double. Okay, that's a lot of money.
It's not a large, when you take away connected cars and all of these other things that AT&T counts as subscribers, there's not that large of a difference. And if the merger were to go through, they would have more postpaid customers by a fair amount, which are those numbers you're looking for.
I got a Sprint T-Mobile merger at 130 million subs.
How many of AT&T's are actually using it as opposed to a forward connected car?
How many connected cars do you say they are?
I mean, you can look up the stats on their own website. I mean, I'm pretty sure.
But I remember AT&T having 140 million plus before the connected cars. I'm talking like, okay, how far back are we going for connected cars? 2 years, 3 years?
I would say far back as 2015.
Okay, so 5 years. Okay.
Yeah.
You're saying about 5% of their customers are connected cars? 10?
I mean, I could pull up stats. I didn't come prepared with that information.
So I just need an estimate because we have to kind of quantify it a little bit.
Yeah,
you know?
I mean, I would say that there are probably between 5 and I don't know. I really don't know. I would say there's between 5 and 10. I mean, every time you buy a new Ford or a new car,
Chevy,
anything modern, they count that car as a line, even if you're not paying for it, and it gets
okay. Carlos, who gives away free stuff? AT&T or T-Mobile?
T-Mobile. T-Mobile, straight up.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that it's free. You're not using it with the connected.
No, not the connected cars. The T-Mobile Tuesday stuff, like some of that stuff, like the shirts, the umbrellas, the gloves. I know only like 25% of the customers take that. AT&T doesn't give anything for free. Mm-hmm. They don't give away free lines.
You know where this shows the most?
They don't, they don't do none of that.
They believe in this philosophy. Nothing's free in America, my friend.
That shows the most with Cricket and Metro. Like if you literally open both websites, Cricket website and the Metro website, you'll see that the same phones, if you go in today and you upgrade, for example, you'll have to pay maybe like $40 with, let's just say the LG Stylo 5, for example, right? About $40, $50. If you go to Cricket, out of your pocket, maybe almost $200. There's so many perks and things that T-Mobile and Metro does that you don't see anywhere else. So they're losing a lot of money over there, right? And
making less.
Exactly. Yeah, making less.
I got a number for you. 24 million of AT&T subs are connected cars as of November 2nd, 2018.
Wow.
That's a lot, man. That is a lot.
It's crazy.
You pull that number,
so they're
subs they have, and that I know you mentioned that how many more subs AT&T has. 24 million of those aren't that $45 ARPU that you're seeing.
So how many
So-
does it have?
That's a hard. I don't.
So
I don't know, man.
Last
It
time I
depends on the
looked-
source.
They're good at,
exactly, because the last time I looked, it was I think 95 million, and
No, more.
Uh,
So
ni-
like I
90,
hear
120.
150 to 160. I hear
No,
all
I
the
think
time.
Verizon was about 150, 160.
I hear 130, 140. I don't even know what to
yeah,
think anymore
I
because
haven't heard a straight number about it. Honestly, I've
Yeah.
never heard a definitive answer as to how many they have.
But
it
regardless,
actually
that's
it
the
actually
number.
doesn't make sense, right? It doesn't make sense when you start talking connected
Yeah.
cars, when you start talking about like devices that only operate for point of sales. Like, what is the network traffic on
Yeah.
that?
Yeah, you don't
you
really
know?
get a good idea of exactly
Verizon-
what they're pushing.
Verizon has 118.7 million subscribers right now. Okay.
Okay, what's the source there? Just so we know.
Yeah,
I've heard that number before. Years.
Let's see here. I'm just Google.
Click on the source right under it.
It's Wikipedia.
So
Oh,
Yeah.
God.
I do remember that number though, but I remember that number from Q3 of 2019. So it's about right. And I do remember I actually had him when I wrote them down. AT&T reported 92.9 million domestic wireless subscribers. But that tells you how many there are that are just
AT&T is 153 million.
including the cars. Maybe.
Yeah, so you subtract 24 from that, so
Yeah.
there
So
are
then
what?
that number is about right.
129 million customers.
What's interesting is that, just to put this in perspective, if there is about 24 million cars, right, that are connected onto the AT&T network, Metro PCS has, if I'm not mistaken, 21 million subscribers. So you're talking about all of Metro by T-Mobile is
And then it's
as much as cars.
T-Mobile has 86 million customers. It says here as of end of
right.
Q4 2019.
Really?
Yeah, that was the last
Yeah.
metric we had from the last quarter report.
Huh. Interesting.
86, and they've been adding 1+ million per quarter for 7 quarters.
Since
20.
like 2012, yeah.
Been good.
And then
They
and then
they literally acquired Metro PCS, and they haven't looked back since, bro.
Yeah.
Like
Metro-
literally, they added
Right.
they added Metro. They added, it was 10 million subs right there with that acquisition. That put them at like 30 million, and then it's been 1.7, 2.1, 1.5, 1.3, 1.7 every quarter for 6 years, bro. 7 years.
They were at like 30 million when they started or something like that.
But
But hey,
but they're taking Sprint customers. That's all. Mainly, that's what it is.
No.
Let me tell you something.
hold on, man. Hold on.
Go ahead.
Let's call it like it is, bro.
Call it how
They
it is.
haven't they've been taking Sprint's growth.
Yeah.
What Sprint could have had in growth, they've been taking. So yeah, kind of. They've been taking Sprint customers.
But let me tell you this. I don't know if you guys seen the recent report. They wrote that T-Mobile actually commented on the growth of competition, saying that in their Q4, they actually were surprised, but they're feeling the heat from other carriers, basically. So
Lies.
We'll see.
Merger lies. Merger lies.
wait.
Lies.
But I think I think they were specifically, or that's pertaining to prepaid, not more of postpaid. But they did say that the last quarter they did push out a lot of promotions in Q4 of T-Mobile that brought in a lot of people in Q4, but the churn rate was very high, and that makes sense.
Okay. Well, the quarter before they had the record low churn. They were at like 0.87,
They
something
also their
crazy.
second lowest Q4 churn in their company's history.
Wait.
So,
Say it again. Your Q4
year
was
over year, it was their lowest Q4 churn rate. So it's even though it went up, it was still like the lowest of the Q4 they've had. Now Q3, it was like the lowest ever.
Yeah.
It was like 0.87. So like they're holding on to their customers.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting.
I think Sprint's prepaid churn was like 5, bro. That's crazy.
They're all going to Xfinity, Comcast.
I think their postpaid churn was like 1.97. I've never seen anything like that before, bro. Like Marcelo, like I don't blame him for going to WeWork. Whatever job they offered him, he's like, yes.
Time to
Get
jump
me outta
shit.
here, bro. Oh my god.
You know who's
I can't
doing
believe he
bad?
still has to go to court, bro.
Their prepaid carriers are doing bad. Metro and Cricket and Boost are doing really bad. And I'm going to talk about that. Actually, I'm going to go live after this right here. And I'm going to be talking about why and how I got those sources. But they've recently have, let's just say, not what expected from all the carriers, all the big carriers. They were expecting that there was going to be more kind of input coming in from prepaid carriers. But some of the sources are saying there's an issue because they only added 77,000 last quarter. And so I think
At least it's growth.
it is growth, but it's not what they were doing about almost 300, 400. Do you know Xfinity added 300,000?
I was just about to go there, bro. Comcast is adding customers, bro.
And they're all they're all Verizon MVNOs, right?
Heavily managed Verizon.
Yeah.
And you got to keep in mind those, like a network like Comcast, they're connecting all those little Wi-Fi hotspots and shit like that, right?
Yeah.
So they're trying to get things off the Verizon network as much as possible. Jaden, are they paying per gig on those MVNO agreements? I feel like they are.
Yeah, I think it's a wholesale agreement per gigabyte.
Yeah.
I don't know the numbers of it. I don't know if that's public information, but I'm pretty sure it's by the gig.
You know how I figured this out? The Sprint T-Mobile merger trial.
Yeah.
They had to talk about everything, bro. I know more about MVNOs and stuff now than I ever have because it's become a piece of the merger. Like MVNOs have to strike deals with Sprint, T-Mobile, and all these companies. And Sprint was like, yeah, they're leveraging us to get a deal with Verizon. They're using us to get a price. They take our price and they go to Verizon and they say, here's what Sprint's giving us. Match it or we're gone. And they're lying, bro. They ain't going to Sprint. They're lying, bro. It's like me going to Jaden. Jaden, give me the best price you can. Jaden goes, okay, we'll do $1 a gig, right? And then I'm like, all right, good looking out. I leave. I go to JG. Hey, Verizon, I'm getting $1 a gig, bro. You got it? All right, we'll do $1 a gig. You see what I'm saying? That's all they're doing. Bro, I'll never forget it, bro. That was Marcelo's testimony on like the third day of the merger trial. He's like, bro, they're using us. Not using our network. They're using our offer. And then they're going to Verizon.
Dang. They're getting bamboozled.
I really hope that the merger goes through, to be honest with you, because, you know, it's honestly the most people are going to basically benefit from this will be the consumers. Because more competition, right? Instead of having, you're going to have these big three players. So if T-Mobile really comes up, then you're going to spook Verizon and AT&T to the point where, like, okay, now we got to step up and decrease prices and be more competitive than they are right now, basically.
Can you definitively say that when they've only given a 3-year price promise? And not only that, are they not scared considering the fact that T-Mobile's been adding customers hand over fist for the past 8 years?
I mean, regardless, competition is good, right? You don't want to have like them monopolized, because instead of having right now, you have AT&T and Verizon, right? They're the big dogs, and they really don't feel a lot of competition. But once you merge Sprint and T-Mobile, then you really have competition to Verizon, and you know how competitive T-Mobile is.
I think they're competitive from the network performance standpoint as a merged company. I think pricing is inevitably going up. I don't care with or without merger. Pricing is going up. Every company is going to spend 10 to 20 billion annually to launch a legitimate 5G network. It's going to take tons of money. Mm-hmm. So I think the network expenditure, it doesn't matter. 5G is happening. So it doesn't matter post-merger. There's 4 companies as they stand today, or there's 3 and then Dish. It doesn't matter. The pricing is going to go up. I can't believe T-Mobile agreed to a 3-year price lock, actually.
That's too
long. I would never, as a company, agree to a 3-year price lock. But they only did it because they know it's at stake. They lost LTE, and they don't want to lose 5G. But I think, go ahead.
There's something that I see differently. So, yes, I agree they're all going to raise prices, okay, across the board. But who will raise more? You understand what I'm saying? So
who's got the track record? Who raises prices the most? AT&T.
AT&T.
AT&T, yeah, but that's why I'm saying there's going to be more competition now with T-Mobile being there, right? So they're all, don't get me wrong, they're all going to raise the prices to make to recoup some of that money they're spending on the network. But at the end of the day, knowing T-Mobile as it is right now and how competitive they are, because when I see the war, the competition between Boost, Cricket, and Metro, it's
fierce.
Crazy. T-Mobile literally loses money sometimes. I don't even know how they do it. And that just tells you how competitive they play. And Verizon and AT&T, I know they know that. So if they all increase the price, okay, but at some time, you're going to see that competition where everybody's trying to get more customers, right, than the other person to kind of then compete.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, I
this is where. Oh, go ahead, bro. Go ahead.
Okay, I think that erasing T-Mobile's competition in the industry as it is kind of foolish. I mean, in 2012, my grandmother and I paid $80 to AT&T a month for 4 gigs shared.
Yeah, but that's not today, though.
Right, but
we're looking at today's. Well, are you talking pedigree? Like you're talking track record, right?
Right. I mean, they definitely put pressure on them. Whether or not that will be maintained if they don't get a merger pushed is a whole other thing, and only anybody can guess. And I mean, even if the mergers decline, they could definitely, like you said earlier, go for C-band, and not only that, they could also get Sprint spectrum through buying it other ways. You know, I mean,
here's the thing though, Jaden. If they get the merger, they're gonna spend 26 billion.
Yeah.
They're gonna spend 30 billion on C-band.
Okay.
But what they're getting out of Sprint is 50 million subs.
Yeah.
Are they good subs? Does anybody want Sprint subs?
Like,
I don't. A sub is a sub.
I guess.
It's market share though, right? Okay.
Exactly.
All right.
I mean, it's gonna lower their ARPU by a good couple dollars.
Oh, are they gonna honor some of those pricings? Right.
They have to. They will.
But this is the thing though. But this is the thing. Regardless, when the merger happens, okay, if the merger happens, they're already starting out at 80 billion in debt. So the price and AT&T, remember, they got that FirstNet contract. So basically, all the upgrades they're doing are basically free.
Tax
if you think about it, yeah, they're tax write-offs and everything. So, if anything, I don't see AT&T hiking up their prices anytime soon. T-Mobile's gonna have to. They got a lot of debt that they're acquiring with this merger, a lot, and then on top of it, who knows what else is behind the doors that we don't even know about.
But I feel like there's no option.
Verizon and T-Mobile are the ones I'm going to see prices go up more than AT&T, I think, going on forward. Because AT&T, they got free money right now, bro. Like, regardless, they got free money coming in. Once Band 14 is officially rolled out, they get a lot of money. They get so much money back plus tax write-off. On top of it, anytime they justify it for Band 14 FirstNet upgrade integration, they get it as money back and tax write-off. So, basically, they got free money coming in all the time.
Carlos, you know how they're doing these network upgrades. They're single climb. They're doing everything.
Yeah, they're doing everything. They're justifying it to their FirstNet.
Go ahead, Jaden.
Where I live.
What's that?
It has not been single touch where I live.
Really? Wow.
My work site, for example, got radios for Band 30 like September.
What's going on with Band 30, bro? What's up with that?
November for FirstNet. And I mean, they still haven't even modernized the mid-band radios on it, so they're gonna have to go back again eventually to do that.
They've been pushing that single climb thing though.
They climb once for Band 30 on another site, and they're gonna have to climb again for FirstNet. I mean, they have to have it on all. So
here they've been
for me.
Jaden, here they've been doing everything they go on once. And they're adding they're removing old panels, doing new panels on Band 2, Band 12, then they're adding 30, they're adding 30 below it. They're doing a single climb and they're doing it all. Here, every tower has been a single climb, slap everything, re-add new hardware, change out hardware, whatever they got to do, change fiber lines, coax lines, whatever they do, boom, done.
So Jaden, they're lying when they say they're 75% done with Band 14.
I don't know about that. They might be telling the truth. I don't get to see their entire network on a map, but they do climb more than once, at least where I live. and it's been shown a couple of times now. And I mean, they've been pushing this one-touch strategy for well over a year, but that's not been the case. And you can ask anybody on Howard forums. I'm the AT&T fanboy that people fear.
No,
It's not been
okay. I want to get this input from all you guys, okay? Because recently, I've been seeing, okay, like Sprint, they've been doing a lot of upgrades, and from sources, they're trying basically from what at the end of this Q4, they're gonna raise their capex on spending. From my source told me anywhere between 15 to 19 billion this year for this new.
Who's giving the money, bro? They don't have the revenue. Where's it coming from?
But that I don't know where it's coming from. I'm trying to find out more as we go. But what they want
Massa changed his mind, bro.
They want to redo a lot of the stuff, like add network integrations, add more band 41 everywhere, and they're relocating panels from existing share monopoles to their own monopoles, because I guess on 5G massive MIMO they've been having a lot of interference with band 30 when the site has band 30. So what do you guys think on this? Because they've been doing band 26 upgrades, but band 26 is supposed to go to Dish on the merger. Why are they upgrading those? Here in Vegas, we're seeing major upgrades where they upgraded 10 by 10.
It would only make sense that they would be upgrading band 26. It would only make sense if they're doing band 26 is if they don't think the merger is happening.
Sprint so that by 10 band 26. That's not. They don't own Spectrum licenses.
I thought they own. I thought they've been doing 5.
They only own 7.
No, there's 10 by there's 10 by 10 here, bro. I've been looking at all the Signal Pro and everything. I've been connecting to some at 10 by 10.
You live in Vegas?
Yeah.
18.
What's their national? What's their national, Jason?
They own 7 by 7 nationally in SMR 800. I don't know how it could be.
Unless Signal Pro is wrong, you know. But it's 10 by 10.
I mean, you can, if Verizon and AT&T each have a band 5 license there, then there's no other room for band 26 to be widened. Sprint doesn't own any band 5 licenses in the country.
And this is the next one. What do you guys? I've been reading a lot of things. I've actually experienced some of this on.
Oh, Jaden, we got a correction. Tim Man says it's 10 by 10 for band 25, not band 26.
25.
Yeah, I know who that is, but yeah, he's probably right.
Yeah, Tim Man, he always does this, bro. I'm like, damn, he knows Sprint really well. Okay. I know that for a fact. Yeah, he knows it. And actually, I want to say he might be from your neck of the woods, bro.
He's from Minneapolis. We've talked before.
I knew it. I remember that. Okay. Now, all right, go ahead.
I've experienced this drive. I actually sent Sneed a lot of the pictures. They've been on the drive back from Phoenix to Vegas. My Verizon phone started extended LTE from AT&T. And I've been reading and hearing that Verizon and AT&T on band 5. That's why Verizon's been doing band 5 heavily, is because they're trying to get some sort of extended LTE agreements going, and they're doing test trials in certain markets right now. Now, Jaden, what do you think about that? Since you know more about AT&T, do you think that's possibly true? Like, what have you encountered on that so far, bro? Because it's interesting, you know. It did connect. It was working fine.
Yeah, I haven't heard a lot about any sort of LTE roaming agreements. I know that CDMA list Verizon devices will roam on AT&T UMTS. I have not heard anything about LTE.
Look, here's the thing. Here's what will always kind of debunk that. Bro, in the US, wireless carriers distinguish themselves through their networks. In some places, it's features. Okay, we'll give you this amount of data, we'll give you this much, these features, this hotspot. Bro, in the US, in postpaid, AT&T is going to tell you that theirs is better than Verizon's. Verizon's going to tell you we got more of it. Sprint tells you we're close enough and we're going to give you the best deal. And T-Mobile's going to tell you our network, we got the best deep signal, you know, you could put anywhere. You're in a basement. We got 600 megahertz. They always try to sell you on their network. That's their distinguishing factor. You get what I'm saying? So it makes no sense from that respect to have an extended LT agreement or a roaming agreement. You get what I'm saying? I'm not saying it's wrong, Carlos. I'm saying they've spent all of these years distinguishing each other by their network. Now they're going to share. I don't know. You get what I'm saying? I'm just looking at it that way.
I don't know, man, because like I said, I've been hearing stuff through the wind and that they are trying to get something going like that. Because AT&T does still have a lot of HSPA out too. We're in an area where Verizon would have native LTE.
I didn't see Band 5 for years on my connections. And then over the last year, Band 5 made my Verizon experience like 50% faster. Literally just by, shifting it over from 3G, I'm assuming. Like I don't know. I'm guessing it's just a refarmed band, whatever spectrum they're using. Maybe 5 megahertz of it.
Why, but the thing is, why did it connect? Why did it connect to AT&T? Why? If they supposedly there's nothing,
I don't know.
Why did it connect? And it was working because I called you on that phone.
I know. You sent me the screenshot. I saw it.
I sent you a screenshot and I called you on it at the same time.
Because here's the thing, Jaden. I caught wind of this in October, a potential agreement between Verizon and AT&T. To me, it seems insane. Like, it doesn't make sense.
I mean, I've read things, but I wouldn't put stock in anything until we have official proof. I mean, there could be testing, absolutely, but I wouldn't say that there's a national roaming agreement.
Bro, you're on forums, bro. There are people that hide behind screen names, usernames that usually speak of these things. I don't see it anywhere.
Bro.
Yeah.
I don't know where you find it, bro, but I've been trying to look for more solid, but I'm gonna make that drive again next week to Phoenix, and I'm gonna do some more digging while I'm taking that drive. I'm actually gonna pull over and do some more testing with it because it was connected and it did work. I was playing music on my car with my other Verizon phone while it was connected to AT&T.
I would not put stock in your performance on Verizon increasing from Band 5 due to that frequency being aired. It's like a 10 to 15% gain in capacity. I think what you're seeing there is modernization of radio heads giving you 4x4 MIMO. I think that's what you're seeing, that 50% speed boost.
I'm gonna be leaving soon, but I want to add a quick comment just in conclusion to what I was saying. And this is
go ahead.
My opinion. You guys might disagree with it or not. And just my personal opinion, I feel like this is in terms of the merger. Having 3 big players is going to be way better than having just 2 big players. And just looking at the previous record of how AT&T and Verizon has been dealing with its customers and how T-Mobile has been dealing with its customers and consumers in general and how it's been really competitive, I just feel like there's going to put more pressure on AT&T and Verizon in the long run. This is just my hope. This is how things will go to kind of be more competitive and do better things for the consumer. Because at the end of the day, the consumers are what matter, and as long as they can help the consumers, competition is good. Competition is good for the market. And let's say if they don't, the states, they really block this and they succeed in blocking it, it's going to be bad for consumers because I feel like, number one, 5G is going to take a long time to actually reach the market. It's going to be as competitive as it would have been having the 3 big players in it. And then at the same time, I feel like Sprint is already weak and it's going to be weakened even more. And lastly, it's going to be very hard for T-Mobile, I feel like, to get some valuable spectrum from somewhere else. And that's just my conclusion to this merger and to the talk.
I will say this about the markets with like 4 carriers. There's no scenario where 3 carriers is better than 4, except when the 4 is failing and the 4 is giving up, which their investment support, unless they continue to increase capital expenditure, which they could, maybe they do make a comeback, but literally they have to like double their expenditure for like the next 5 years.
Yeah.
Then we could have a serious conversation as a 4th player. But when you're losing 200,000+ quarterly, you don't see the light at the end of the tunnel. You just see darkness. Bro, the investors are gone. investors left Sprint a long time ago. Look at their market value. It's below $5. T-Mobile's 78. Do you get what I'm saying? The number 3 player is at 78. The number 4 is at 5. So investors, when you discuss these things with them, they say Sprint's done. They say Sprint is dead. It's not us. We're consumers, bro. We're not. Are you a shareholder of Sprint?
Nope.
You don't know anybody that's a shareholder of Sprint. I know shareholders of T-Mobile. I know shareholders of AT&T. They're very happy. See, look, he's happy as hell because he's getting dividends, bro. I'm telling you, man. And even Verizon shareholders, they're like, cool, man. We got this 5G thing coming. It's all good. They got revenue streams. They got deals with YouTube TV. They got deals with Disney Plus. All these things. They got to deal with Amazon, bro. You know what I'm saying? They got deals coming. What deal does Sprint have, bro?
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, to be honest with you, that kind of goes on to my point. You know, that's why I feel like right now,
but
if you look at it in the near future, if the T-Mobile and Sprint, you know, come together, getting those 50 million subscribers or whatever, just coming together, that's going to put some pressure on the other carriers.
And by the way, I don't believe in Dish. I'm going to tell you that right now. I don't believe in Dish. I hate Charlie Ergen. I hate Dish. They've been hoarding spectrum for years. I don't believe in them, so I don't really care. In fact, I feel bad for some of the Boost customers that don't want to be a Dish customer. But so they're going to probably move. And actually, bro, if you think about it, is Dish really that much better off? Bro, Dish has their own debt. Dish can't even make payment on the $5 billion they need to pay for the spectrum that's being divested. They can't even afford the 9 million customers coming from the deal. Bro, they have to borrow money, which they could get a loan. I'm not saying they can't, but they're going to get a roaming agreement that's going to be really good, right? So they'll be fine for 7 years or whatever T-Mobile ends up giving them. Well, but what do you do after that, bro? They're looking for a buyer.
It's going to be the first 5 years where they have like full access. Then they start throttling them down through time until the 7 years hit. So the first 5 years they have full access.
Bro, what could anybody really say about Dish right now that's going to make it all roses and rainbows and it's all... No, bro. There's no way you can slice it that you'd say, oh, yeah, Dish is going to be great. You don't know that.
Okay, you're going to get growth from there. T-Mobile, let's say the merger happened already, and you're going to have growth from Dish, basically. They're going to merge over to T-Mobile. But after that, where's their growth going to come from? Because the turn rate from a Verizon customer and AT&T customer is very low.
It is low.
Yeah, nobody really switches. It's like, let's just say, what, 1 out of every 1,000 or 100 customers, let's say. You know, it's not that much. So their growth is not going to be the same. If everybody thinks they're going to be getting 1 million net ads or 500,000 net ads, and you know, every quarter, they're dead wrong. Once the merger happens, they got all their net ads right there from Sprint, and they're only going to get some from the Dish, and then that's it. The growth is going to be very little for all carriers all around.
All right. I'd love to stay on, guys, but the goal was to be on for an hour. We're an hour and 13 in. So let's kind of wrap things up. I just want to go ahead and say thank you to all you guys for coming on. Thank you, Carlos, for being here. Thank you, JG. Yeah. Jaden, it was a pleasure meeting you too, man. Thanks for coming in and kind of getting in a conversation.
I'll be a nerd whenever you want. Let me know.
What's that?
I'll be a nerd whenever you want. Let me know.
Yeah, so you're awesome, dude. That's some good knowledge.
Also on my channel, if anybody's interested in kind of moving over there, anybody in the comments as well. We got some interesting topic that we're going to be talking about. So feel free. Maybe Raphael, you can link my channel down in the comments. So if somebody wants to slide over there and
I already got that notification like 20 minutes ago, bro. That said you're 30.
Yeah.
Yo, Jaden, you got to subscribe to JG Tech Blog, bro. Don't play no games, bro. Hit that sub.
Yeah, bro. He's a good dude, man.
Appreciate it, guys.
So let's wrap things up. I want to thank everybody in the live stream. Thank you to all who watched. Thank you to everybody who liked the video and shared it. Also, thank you to everybody that gave a donation. Thank you to my moderators for holding it down with the big blue wrenches. Rafi, appreciate you. Greg, I saw you. I don't know who else was moderating in there. But thank you guys for that. And thank you to all the contributors here tonight. And I think what we'll do is Sunday or Monday. I'm kind of leaning towards Monday, but I don't know. Sunday, we'll see. Maybe we could work it out. Maybe we'll kind of reconvene this conversation and we'll take a look at some different things from like a future outlook, whose network is positioned for success moving forward, and kind of who's got the best plan, right? Who's got the best approach for future network deployments. So if you guys want to come on, I'll send you guys the invites. We could do this again. It'd be great to have you on.
Sure.
Just let me know. I'll get you guys all connected. We'll get invites out. So that's it. On behalf of I'm going to try this again. On behalf of Jaden and JG Tech Blog and Carlos, I am the SMT. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you guys on the next one.
See you guys.
Peace.
And Aloha's on there too. Did you guys see him?